Urban Beats on DemonFM. Some of the biggest club DJs around Leicester going into the mix. All the latest music from Grime, R&B, Dancehall, Hip Hop, Bashment, Soul and Reggae. It's everything from an epic night without the awful cues, idiot bouncers and some mugs spilling their drink all over you. Tune in tonight from 10. Urban Beats on DemonFM, bringing the nightclub to your living room.
Click. As I look around, they don't do it like my click, 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 click.
Hey there, what's going on? My name's Cory, Holas. As you can see, Strand producer of Urban Beats here at DemonFM 107.5. And we're basically on 7 days a week between 10 and midnight. And why don't you come along and check out what the DJs get up to? I'm a Strand producer, so as you know, pretty hectic, and I have to make sure everything goes as planned. So come and check out what we do. So this is where the magic all happens, all the programming, all the scheduling that I do, and making sure that everything goes to plan. All the DJs doing their things on the decks. It's all inside there, as you can see, on air at the moment, so you can't just jump in at the moment. If you stick around, we'll show you what guys get up to, and you get to meet some of the DJs themselves. So guys, welcome to the studio. We also call this control room, just because it is the control room. It's huge. So this is where the shows happen every night from 10 to 12 AM. As you can see, we've got the DJ decks here, all the DJ apparatus, where the DJs come and do most of their shows. Some of them like to perform on the desk more and play a few of the jingles and sound effects off the system, but to be honest, most of it happens here. So since my appointment, we've had the new amps and speakers and the microphone implemented into the studio, which has been a big boost for the DJs themselves. And we've also had the schedule of the week put up over here so people can see the plan of the rest of the DJs who are also performing throughout the rest of the week and for the rest of the schedule for the whole station over the course of the week. As you can see over here, we have the table, back table, so for any guests that come in, if there's more than one, obviously there's enough adequate microphones so they can all sit down and participate in the show. A nice little amp box so you can all switch on and everyone can hear them. So here we are, the radio desk for the control room. As you can see, it's full of array of faders and gain controls and volume controls. Just your real standard radio desk right here. And the system we use on DemonFM is Rivendell, the playout system. So it's really simple, just click on something to play it, click on it to stop it. And it's just so easy to use. If you want to move something, you just click on it and move it to where you want it. If you want to delete it, vice versa. It's all the same. So it's really easy for the community DJs and the community members to just come in, adapt to it, learn it, and just apply it to their shows. Also on the second screen over here, we have all the text and all the tweets coming over here. So moving on to the second computer over here, which is where the producer, myself, or any other the show producers are based, and we just circulate all information that comes in, tweets, texts, Facebook messages, all across to the DJs so that they know that what's going on and that they're fully interacting with the audience listening. One thing that the Strand actually didn't have before was a Facebook group for the Urban Strand itself, which meant that we could update each other about anything that was going on, any information about DJs not going to be able to participate in that specific show or that week, and it's just really helped us to keep communication fixed and concentrated purely on the Strand, so that nothing gets mixed up or we're not left with dead air randomly one week or one show. So this has been a big boost for everyone, including myself, and I think purely for the management team as well, to be able to see that all the information is being circulated, that they know that each night there's definitely going to be a show without a shadow of doubt, and if there isn't, then there's a pre-record or there's something filling the gap, which has been a big boost to the Strand itself. And finally, as you can see, decorated around the studio here, we've got an array of information, of guidelines and things that are required from the DJs and any other presenters here on DemonFM. So they have to make sure they follow these guidelines and these rules, otherwise they could potentially have warnings, and if it goes further, then probably disciplined and kicked off the station, which is not what we want. So as you can see, the studio is perfectly equipped with all the requirements and the needs for the DJs and other presenters that come and use the studio, which makes DemonFM one of the best community and studio radio stations there is about.
Yes, this is 107.5 DemonFM. You're tuned into Six Sounds with me, Andrew Bennett, giving you the latest and greatest R&B and hip hop around.
Here at DemonFM, Urban Beats is the new late night urban music strand. broadcasting live every night between the hours of 10 p.m. to midnight. We have a star-studded lineup of local DJs bringing listeners their daily dose of urban music each night. My role as Strand producer is to ensure that all shows are adequate for broadcast. This includes, but is not limited to, the technical, operational and editorial elements of the programme. Although the Strand is fully operational and led with direction, it was not always the case prior to my appointment. Communication and direction were major factors which were bringing the Strand and the station down. In order for the station to reach new heights and progress, I arranged a meeting with the members of Urban Beats and the Strand and programme of station Kaz Harvey.
Inside DemonFM right here, 107.5, broadcasting loud and clear. Gotta say what's up to all the listeners, got it locked in. Don't forget the number to text us on is 60300. Start your texts with the word demon, followed by your message.
Sounds of Miguel and Wiz Khalifa. That one there called Adorn. Before that you had Drake and Started From the Bottom. DJ Glamour right here till midnight. R&B, Bashment, hip hop, bit of house, bit of UKG as well coming up throughout the show. It's massive at the minute. It's DemonFM.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
Last tables, diamonds and guns before the fame. Duke a nigga like me, hold text. Are you the same too? Going through the emotions. A gun, melanin tone. I rock skeleton bone shirts and verses with thirst for worse beats. So I can put more product out in the street. Give respect and love all across the board. We do it all. Keep it.
I go do it. We not go do it. We not go do it. We star. Movie star. When you tell them, some of us are fuck around. You don't know some of us stuck around. Movie star. Movie star. So we aim to the moon and we miss just to reach the star.
During the meeting, members of the management team also joined us to ensure that all areas of concern or confusion were addressed. Social media regulator for DemonFM Selena Lee joined us, as well as technical advisor Sam Doherty and Strand producer of the electric dance music Strand, broadcasting 8 to 10 p.m. prior to Urban Beats. Marcus Tahoon joined the meeting. Throughout the meeting, several areas were tackled, including communication, punctuality, direction, technical support, social media awareness, Ofcom's broadcasting code, and the expectations of the Urban Beat Strand. I wanted to investigate further and find out how industry professionals manage urban late-night themed programs. I spoke to AJ King, presenter and DJ at Kiss FM UK, Adele Cross, producer at BBC Radio 1 Extra, and Treble T, music scheduler at Bang Radio. I also spoke to Lady NV, who DJs, presents and produces urban programs for radio, broadcasting across the Caribbean and Africa. As well as this, I wanted clarity about the differences and similarities for broadcasting late-night urban-themed programs on television. For this, I spoke to MTV's program manager, Jay Smith. After speaking to the industry professionals, I implemented strategies and rules to the production of the Urban Beat Strand.
What's good? My name's AJ King, presenter and DJ here at KISS. Do Monday to Thursday, 10 to midnight, and also 5 till 8 p.m. on a Saturday show called Kissalicious, getting you ready for your weekend. How do we deal with explicit music? Well, my show, it follows a playlist. So any music which is input into the output system, the playlist, is vetted. We only deal with radio edits whereby, you know, all swearing's cut out, references to things like drugs, alcohol, you know, certain sexual acts, which are commonplace in songs. We edit them out, or if it doesn't come as a radio-friendly version, we'll do our own radio edit. So that's mainly how we circumnavigate that situation?
Hi, my name is Adele Cross. I'm a producer at One Extra and I produce Trevor Nelson between Monday and Friday. Explicit music content is actually a different question depending on the audience. So say after 7 p.m. there'll be different words acceptable after 7 as before 7, and again after midnight as before midnight. So say for example, you can never have the N-word ever at any time of the day or night, but you may, or the C word or the F word, but you may have perhaps after 7, someone might say shit, that might be allowed but it has to be approved, and then after midnight it can get a little more crude or a little more strong, should we say, but it depends on each show. But having said that, at the start of the show it's very clear as to what to expect, so you're going to know whether you're going to be listening to quite a tame show or if it's going to be quite explicit. You're given a warning at the top, so though even if it's the DJ saying it or if it's an idiom we use, we make sure they know as they tune into the show what to expect, so we're not going to get any surprises during the show.
Hello one and all, my name is DJ Treble T from the Rampage crew, and I'm head of music here at Bang Radio in Northwest London. How you doing? So what we do at Bang Radio to prevent explicit content from going out at any time is we make sure that all the DJs are grilled and they know our codes of conduct. So basically that's a rule of thumb here at Bang. No swearing is allowed, any kind of swearing whatsoever, whether it's by the person or if it's on the record. Doesn't matter what time of day or night. We don't have official disclaimers, we don't put disclaimers out, because as far as we're concerned there's never going to be content on our network that is offensive. Some people do put out disclaimers, but all it takes is one complaint to really put you in a lot of trouble. So we make sure all the music that we schedule on the playlist during the day is 100% clean, and we police our specialist DJs quite sharply to make sure that they're aware of what is a swear word from what isn't, and if they do play a swear word we make sure they apologise post haste and make sure that if anyone was offended they don't stay offended for long.
My name is Natasha Lady MV Bino. I'm a syndicated radio announcer and DJ. I do mix in the ones and twos. I'm also a radio announcer here for Slam 101. For the syndicated radios, I am actually on Y107.9 FM in Ghana. I'm on Unique 101.7 in Gambia, and I'm on Kiss FM in Senegal. Well, there are a lot of laws here in Barbados as well, Africa, where you cannot play explicit lyrics. When it comes to Barbados in particular, you have a lot of laws that prohibit that.
I'm Jay Smith, I'm Music Programming Manager for MTV UK. Well, we get a number of videos in every week, and we have a look at those in our acquisitions meetings, and we decide which videos we're going to use for which channels, because we have a number of different channels which have specific music genres, and if we have obviously tracks that we would, or videos that we would like to use, but they have content in which might be a problem, then we'll call for them, we'll get them in, and we'll get our kind of compliance team to have a look at them, and they will tell us where the edits may need to be made, or if they think it's clean. In some cases, they might be able to justify it, or where the issues are in terms of, it could be things like strobing, which comes under a Harding problem, or smoking, or sexual content, or drug issues. So there's a number of things that might be a problem, and so we'll get them to have a look, and then in some cases we'll ask the record label for a clean edit if they can provide us with that, or we'll ask them permission for us to edit it.
I wish we could. Unfortunately, we can't, because once again, the laws state that we can't play anything that is discriminatory against, other races, creed, anything that may be offensive. So the laws here, Barbados is a very conservative country, and because it's a very conservative country, we wouldn't have to make any disclaimers for that matter.
We just don't include it in our output, so via that the audience then know what not to expect. if you see what I mean. So you're not gonna tune into any one of my shows and hear explicit music or, you know, explicit content, mainly because of our target audience, which our target audience is 14 to 35. But as you know, anyone can listen to the radio, from a 5-year-old to a 105-year-old. So we make sure that the output is safe, as it were.
No, generally we make sure that the video is clean, so there wouldn't be any need for that. I mean, there has been an example where we did use what we call like a warning board, which you can either have on the front and at the back of the video, just to put the video in context. And we did that with Plan B's Ill Manners, which was a very important record, we felt. But obviously the nature of the video and the content, which included kind of riot scenes, and obviously some language as well, which was an issue. But it was mainly the theme of it in terms of the violence that was involved in it. It's a very important video for us to play. Obviously, it was going to be post 10 in terms of the theme. We didn't want to change it too much, but we asked permission to do that. We asked Ben whether we could, if we could, edit it and put it out, and he was cool with that. I think it was cleared, and we also didn't want to change it too much. So he basically gave us permission. He wrote something for the actual warning board at the start of the video, and that's what was at the beginning and at the end of the video, to put it in context. But because he actually wrote it himself, we didn't need to change the video too much.
We can't do anything, basically. Even how can I put it? Even charities are difficult. So, say for example, the BBC will only support Comic Relief or Children in Need. We can't even support other charities like the Cancer Fund or whatever, because it won't be allowed. It's too commercial. Another example is, say presenters enjoy using Twitter, but there's no way that we can, if they are allocated to a brand, for example, Reggie Yates is now connected to Burton because he's a model for them now. He can now be taken off Twitter for BBC. So what we do instead is, during a show, we'll have, say, the Trevor Nelson Show Twitter, or we'll have one extra Twitter. So the one extra Twitter is one thing, and Trevor Nelson's another, to prevent the commercial and the broadcast going together.
Sort of wherein basically all the presenters have to be aware of and shout what the station priorities are. So whichever event the station is officially getting behind is the event that you should be talking about on air. We don't necessarily have a specific rule against mentioning where you're playing, because if you're a jobbing DJ and people are listening, they may well want to come out and listen to that DJ play. So we don't have a specific rule, but it's more along the lines of just mention it once per show or once per hour. At the end of your show, just say, I'm playing here or I'm playing there. Don't forget this is on if you want to catch me. So that it's made clear that it's not an official endorsement or advertisement, and it is just the DJ letting you know where they're playing that weekend.
Now the thing is, being a commercial station, that would work against us, because as you know, KISS does the Wireless Festival. We have, events abroad, Mallorca, Marrakesh. So just mentioning other random events, unless they are KISS branded events, would be absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So obviously there's a fine line. Common sense dictates that every link that you do, you're not just going, yes, it's AJ here, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you catch me at this venue. Make sure you catch me at that venue. Da, 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 da. You can do it, but I think it's a common sense decision at the end of the day. And then in answer to what you presented me with, like I said, KISS, we have our own branded events. So there's plenty of for us to talk about events-wise within the whole KISS camp.
The Broadcasting Authority has a set of laws, which is called a statutory instrument. And I could definitely tell you, Clause 5 in letter, say, E, says that the only way in terms of advertising, there's nothing stopping you to advertise anything, just as long as the information is accurate. You cannot have accurate information in the advertising, and then that will be a cause for a fine. Mention, especially the night of the event, but to say it on a consistent basis, no, we're not allowed to do that, because they want the promoters to spend the money with the radio stations.
We do play quite a lot of advertising because we're a commercial commercial channel network. I mean, in terms of interacting with the audience, it's normally our kind of long form shows, reality shows, that we really get the most kind of interaction with. Although we do obviously do themed programming, and we do kind of stunts, what we call kind of music stunts over a month. So it kind of, and in those circumstances we'll do kind of votes, and we'll compile like top 100s or top 50s or top 20s of viewers' kind of favourite tunes based on certain themes. So we do that, and we normally kind of team up with the digital side with our online team to make these work.
We interact with our listeners on several mediums. We still use the old telephone because we have a phone in the studio. We still use email and text because we have a text number and an email line that comes up in the studio as well. But probably the biggest, most popular form of interactivity on air now is probably Twitter, followed by a close second by BBM, BlackBerry Messenger. So we have a BlackBerry in the studio. We have our TweetDeck programmed up to follow the We Are Bang page, and we have a Facebook page as well. But yeah, the highest level of interactivity, I would say, comes from Twitter and our BlackBerry Messenger.
Well, for Slam 101, I see myself as a rogue producer and rogue announcer. So with that said, I am in control of my own show, whereas others might be controlled from the program director. Now, for my particular show, I love to use Twitter. I love to use Facebook. As an announcer, I need to know what my people are thinking. You know what I mean? I have to connect with them. So it's very vital and important for me as an announcer to do it that way. Also, as a producer now, when people tweet certain situations that might be happening to them, because at 11 o'clock every day, I have a talk show, or I might bring up a certain question. So it's important for me as a producer to put together content that I know a number of people or the masses would really appreciate. So with that said, I don't really use Twitter or Facebook to say, oh, listen to Lady MV on Stand 101 on air right now, but I use it more so to connect with people like, hey, Joe from Bridgetown said that all women are dogs. Is that true? So I like to connect with, or all women are cheaters, is that true? So I like to use it in that manner. Now for the Urban Vibes radio show, I definitely use Twitter or Facebook. I'm not a MySpace person. I think they kind of went outdated, but I digress. But I more so, because it's not content driven, but more musically driven, I may, use that as a way to get requests and shout outs. So each show or each medium has a different role in terms of how they play in each particular show, if you understand what I mean.
No, not really. Obviously we do understand, and I wouldn't go on record to say that we'd be more lenient and at the later hours. But the examples I've just given of Baby Sham Stripper Pose or ASAP Rocky Problem, even though the record is 100% clean anyway, we're not sure of its suitability for the breakfast show between 8 and 9 when everyone's on the school run. But I have done in the past, I've scheduled that record between 6 and 7 on drive time. Because if you were on a school run, you're likely to be home by then, because the school run starts at 3:30 till 5 o'clock. So you're more likely to be home already. The people who are still on the way home are office workers. So we're more likely to schedule it in the last hour, which is closer to the specialist. And likewise, we tell all the specialists there is no watershed. 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it doesn't really matter. And obviously we realise that specialists may be slightly looser, but if we have a hard and fast rule, then it becomes really hard for anyone to break that rule because everyone's aware of it. So if there is a swear word that goes out, then we know it's a genuine mistake. We just apologise and move on.
No, because once again, the laws in each country may vary. They all stipulate the same thing, which is no graphic or any music that might be offensive to others will not be allowed to play, or you will face a $500 penalty, which is lowest, And I think the highest is about $55,000, including license taken away and imprisonment as well.
Again, we kind of have a look at the video and we think in some cases we can't actually change the video because of the nature of it, and we don't want to. Where possible, we don't want to have to do an edit because you're actually changing the producers or the director's idea of how the video should look, so we don't want to do that. So in those cases where it's not possible to get a clean edit, we will either go post 9 or post 10 if we feel that it needs it. And I guess a recent example of that would probably be the Weekend's video, which is 28, I think, which has a couple of lap dancers who are topless, and the theme of it is it's in a club and it feels a bit sleazy, and so obviously because of the content there, the majority of the video is them dancing. Then the sexual nature of that makes that post 10.
Basically, here's the rule: if it's likely to be kids around, i.e. the weekend, or from going to school, say 7 o'clock, to going home from school, say 7 o'clock again, it's got to be clean, squeaky clean, absolutely clean. The only thing I can think of is Scout and the Girls have a song where they mention pain in the arse, and that's about as strong as we go. After 7, where kiddies should be doing homework, you can get a little bit more racy, but again, as I say, it's going to be probably SHIT, nothing more than that, and some references to sex, but nothing gratuitous or nothing too crude.
Okay,
and then after that will be, say, between 9 and 10, you can then start to build up to a little more, little stronger references, stuff like that. But again, after midnight, again, it gets even stronger. So it's kind of a case of the gradient is from 6:30 in the morning right through to 7, squeaky clean. From 7 to 10, say, a little bit murky. And from 10 to throughout the night, you could have moderate filth.
With our compliance team, who are very good, and they're in contact with Ofcom quite a lot. They're very clear about the rules, and we basically interpret the Ofcom code and apply it to all programmers that are transmitted, and we tend to use the code as a guide to determine when material should be transmitted and what restriction it should have. So we definitely have that in mind whenever we watch kind of the music videos, and the compliance team are kind of on top of that. And there are obviously, there are different problems in terms of, explicit material, the theme of things, drugs, obviously language as well. And so we're kind of sort of very much aware of that, and we have to consider that when we are thinking of where we kind of day part certain videos, as you do in radio, and there's obviously with the nature of a lot of videos, there is kind of quite a lot of especially within hip hop, sexuality is and the sexual content is definitely an issue. At the moment, we're looking to try and get a clean edit for a show that we've filmed. We've done a top 20 with Iggy Azalea, and obviously we want to put her new track Work at number 1. At the moment, it's post 9, but we want to try and get a clean version of that so that we can run the show across quite a few channels. But because of the nature of a lap dance in the video itself, that creates a problem for us. I guess other examples are there's a lot of hip hop artists that are now getting kind of paid by brands and companies to kind of promote their products and even put them in their lyrics, as well as obviously shots of, say, alcohol or bottles of alcohol in the video, which we would have to blur. So any kind of product that is shown in the video we'll have to blur. Obviously it's a bigger problem when it's part of the lyrics as well. That means that the video might actually be completely restricted. And there was an example of that is the 50 Cent video that we got through for major distribution, which features Brazzers, which is a porn site, and so there's obviously you can obviously blur out the logo, but after a while it becomes obvious. So if there's too much of that happening, because a lot of these videos are now made for the internet and not for TV, then they might just not be suitable for us to broadcast.
I can't speak fully on what precautions are taken, but as I said to you before, all of our songs are radio edits, so steps have been taken there to ensure that any young ears or sensitive ears won't be hearing inappropriate material. The sorts of adverts that the station has as well coincide with that way of thinking as well. You're not going to have advertisements for inappropriate products on the station, because it is for a specific audience. And that's about it. Obviously, in society, anyone can take offence to anything. So if Ofcom were to get involved, the case would get heard, and they'd decide as to how realistic someone's offence would be if you're taking offence to it. But every step is taken, and it's rigorously enforced that our output is friendly, as it were, or clean, or just appropriate to our audience. Full stop.
We have quite a robust sort of procedure when it comes to music. So, for example, ASAP Rocky Problems. Our kind of robust procedure is that several of the management team have children of varying ages, have to take them to school on a school run. So any record that one of the management team would be uncomfortable to listen to whilst dropping their son or daughter to school, secondary school or primary school, if that record makes them feel uncomfortable, then we have to look at whether we should play that record and what time of day that record is suitable for. So you could say ASAP Rocky Problems, or a reggae record was Baby Sham's Stripper Pose. It's talking about ladies dancing like a stripper and posing like a stripper. Really and truly, if you're on a school run and you're dropping your 11-year-old off at school, you don't really want her to be going into school with thoughts of how to dance like a stripper. So we have quite a robust procedure where we question ourselves as to the content of records, and even down to adverts. We've had a few money lending adverts on air, and we're quite aware that a lot of people, especially in our broadcast area, aren't that flush with money. And do we really want to be advising people to get into more debt? So even down to stuff like adverts with a money lending firm, which is a perfectly legal firm, we have to question that and its moral standing about whether it's going to be helpful or destructive to our audience, and not just the music. So all of the content that we put out on Bang, we look at and question before we give it the okay.
Are laws protecting more or less the audience in general? There's no particular age limit, like how you have to protect under 18.
Okay, Zane Lowe on Radio 1 used to have a feature called Masterpieces, where you would play an album in its entirety. And it's fine if you got, say, S Club 7, but I think he had Eminem recently. Of course, we know that's pretty much potty mouth all the way through. So that was referred up and up and up to the head of programs, and he was able to decide whether or not the language was acceptable. It was decided that because the audience would know from the start what to expect, and because it was signposted, and because it was after 7 o'clock, that we would be able to run the album in its entirety, even with the swear words, and not cause harm and offence. That also means that if there are any complaints, we can then refer back to that and say we've checked it, double-checked it, and this is our decision. So in terms of harm and offence, there isn't any swear words or any crude language that's taken lightly on One Extra Radio 1. It's always taken very seriously. So no one's going to just start cussing for the sake of it because they're bored. Because I always think that if you have to start cussing, you're not a particularly good presenter, or even don't have much of a vocabulary in your head. So if there's swearing, it's for a reason. And again, if on One Extra especially, you have cultural references saying dancehall that could be actually are quite crude. But again, you also have something called heritage tracks, and sometimes heritage tracks, you're expected to have that kind of language. So it's a really kind of fine line you get on One Extra as to what expected and what isn't expected.
I spoke to the members of the Urban Beat Strand to find out their views on my appointment as Strand producer. and how it has affected the production of the programming of urban beats on Demon FM.
Obviously, well, I've been on here for 3 years, and like I said, there's always been a bit of a gap with the community members, and obviously knowing what's going on with the runnings in the station. But obviously having Cory there, you know what I mean, you bridge that gap. You know what I mean, you're able to relay information, you know what I mean, from management, and obviously let us know how to put it across in our shows and that. So it's definitely been a massive help. I think you've been here for like 4 or 5 months, and a lot of stuff's progressed, and things have been moving in that time compared to like the previous 2.5 years that I've been here. So that's definitely been a positive. Even like arranging the meetings, stuff like that, it's all positive stuff. So you know what I mean, it's a lot more optimistic now than it probably was, you know what I mean, 6 months ago, definitely for me personally anyway.
Okay, yeah, in regards to Demon FM and also now the Urban Strand, Urban Beats that has been put into place, I find that the major difference between what was going on before to what's going on now. Before, there was less contact with like an interaction between the community members and also like the students and the heads and chiefs of Demon FM. Now, I do feel like with the introduction of like Cory being like a Strand, head of the Strand and things like that, a lot of improvements have been made. For instance, communication has like literally, you know, taken a turning point and is a lot more effective now. Things like just the Demon FM Urban Strand membership group, just for the members of the Urban Strand, that's by far a lot better in terms of, you know, being able to reach out to even some of the members of the group that you don't know, and knowing who's on, and, you know, building a bit more of a team kind of thing. I do feel that, you know, like reflecting back on my time here at Demon FM in the early days, it did feel like I was just like thrown out the wows, and at the beginning I've never received any training or nothing. Like, I never received any training at all. I had to independently learn anything I was learning about the desk and stuff. But obviously, as of now, if I do have a question, I know there's like technical support like Aaron and Sam and people that can go directly to, you know, so I'm feeling a lot more confident about what's going on and also developing my skills, etc.
Okay, right. Since Cory's come on board on Demon FM, and now he's in charge of the Urban Strand, we've had a lot more connection with the station, a lot more communication. It's been really good. We've managed to get a lot of things moving in the right direction. Just 10 times more communication than there was before. Before, it took a long time to get anything done. Didn't seem we were recognised. Cory's always pushing in our corner. He's always like pushing in our direction, which we never had before. So, for instance, like a microphone, it was about a year I requested it to be put on the DJ box, and since Cory's come on board, that's happened now. So it's just, we feel 100 times more comfortable as a community members about Demon FM, and our voice will be heard. That's what it seems to be anyway.
Since you've come in, you've guided us, you've given us a lot of information. I think, you know, we feel comfortable on the Urban Strand. I think people knew that we're here. I think people are recognising, you know, after hours that, you know, we are doing our hard work, and, you know, they know our music, and I think we're getting a lot more fans.
Hi, my name's Andrea Bennett, and I present Six Sounds on Sunday nights 10 till 12 on the Urban Strand on Demon FM. And yeah, it's been good. My time on the Strand has been good. I joined in November, and Cory's been really helpful in any queries that I've got, and he gets on it straight away. I think that like there could be some improvements made in terms of management kind of getting back to people, and like me in particular, I've requested some things, or I've asked some things from people in management, and they haven't got back to me, and I've referred some other people who've been interested in joining the Urban Strand to speak to certain members of management, and they've failed to get back to them, and they've actually said it looks unprofessional, and it kind of gives Demon FM a bad look, and it kind of makes me look like an idiot as well, because I've referred them to that person. I think being on Demon FM is kind of benefiting me kind of gearing me towards my future career. I may want to have a career in radio, and it's kind of really helped me to get in touch with kind of like the old me, the old things that I used to get involved with when I was younger. So thumbs up for Demon FM.
Since my appointment, I feel that the Strand has progressed and a lot of development has been made significantly. I think there is still room for plenty more improvement. However, these next steps will only excel the Strand and the station in becoming one of the Midlands' most listened urban radio programs. I have witnessed the improvements since the Strand started in November, and I believe that the Strand and station has the potential to rival with other commercial radio stations around Leicester and the Midlands. From this investigation, I have learnt and understood the editorial, operational and technical requirements needed to manage an urban late-night programme. I fully agree with the strategies used by the professionals in this documentary, and evidence that they work is proven in the development of the Strand.